the EUROPARC Youth Council that I'm a member of. This is its first year. And to be honest, doing the presentation has given me a great chance to reflect on how much we've achieved in a year. So I'll go through first on what EUROPARC actually is, because not all of you may be aware. So it's a way for people working in protected landscapes across Europe to kind of collaborate ideas. It's been going for over 50 years now, 51. And as you can see, we've got 400 members in 40 countries, and this includes like loads of protected areas, NGOs, and it's just quite a good base of knowledge really, and knowledge sharing between different protected areas. So EUROPARC facilitates networking, and they do conferences, which are really, really good, seminars and workshops and webinars as well. And so if you're interested in it, just go to the link at the bottom and have a little nosy around, because it's a really, really great resource. So in the EUROPARC 2030 strategy, it was all about getting youth involved. So youth involved in decision making, Youth Plus, which is the step up from junior rangers. So you've probably heard of junior rangers, people up to 18 going out and doing work on their protected landscapes. So there was a need for Youth Plus for people aged 18 to 30 to have something as well. So that's like our upskilled down Dale group that we've got in the Dales. And EUROPARC Youth, which is like a collective of all of the Youth Plus groups and the Junior Ranger groups, can kind of come together and represent young people at different levels, really. So what is an important document is the EUROPARC Youth Manifesto, which was brought out in 2018. And as you can see, we've got the 5 key points. So youth empowerment, which is young people must be represented in the decision-making process and are entrusted as well. Living, so supporting young people to live in rural areas to help us remain connected to the community and help develop it in the future. Learning, so young people want more self-sufficient, diverse and resilient rural communities. Working, so providing jobs for young people in the area, and the young people who wrote the manifesto said that it should not take place at the expense of the environment as well. And then a call for action is co-designing a sustainable future now. So the Yorkshire Dales actually uses the Youth Manifesto, which we can see in the work in the drafting groups that we had 2 young people on each group of the management plan drafting groups. And we've also had the co-option of 2 young members as well. And there's the link at the bottom here, europarc.org/youth manifesto, if you want to read more of it, because it is a really great document. So, because of the Youth Manifesto, they wanted to make a youth council. So it started last year. We went through a selection process, had to be interviewed, and you had to be somebody who was connected to a protected area, whether it be through volunteering or working there. And the aim of the council is to strengthen the voice of youth in EUROPARC by sharing youth input on topics across EUROPARC programmes. The activities that we were meant to do was co-organise 2 online youth dialogues per year, which I'll go into later of what we've done, and then support the EUROPARC youth representatives by connecting them to the different Youth Plus groups across Europe and the Junior Ranger programmes. And the Youth Council feed into the youth representative, who has a seat on the proper grown-ups council, which Elliot Lorimer has actually just been elected to. So, who are the Youth Council? There is 9 of us. There will soon be 11, as we've just got some new faces. So we've got Alberto from Italy, me from the Yorkshire Dales in England, Hilda from Albania, Caroline from the Netherlands, Krish from Latvia, Mark from Spain, Marla from Germany, Pascal from Germany, and Patrick from Ireland. We're all quite a good group of people, as we all have different areas of expertise. Some of us have more of an education background, some of us are into policy or transboundary cooperation, and it's just been good to get to know them over the past year. So as part of one of our events that we were meant to do, it was European Youth in Parks Day, and this was for either Youth Plus or Junior Ranger groups or for the protected landscapes to use this day to kind of promote youth work and like youth problems in their protected areas. So as the Yorkshire Dales, we did an event on the 21st of September, and we had the youth voice on the active travel plan with help with Rob Ashford and Caroline Hall. So we got young people who were involved either with the drafting groups, either upskill down Dale or working for the National Park, and we all got together to do a bit of a consultation on the active travel plan. It was really good as it meant that we got a voice as well. And just doing it with young people took a bit of fear out of it so that everybody could get their voices heard. And we fed into the survey that Rob did as well, so hopefully there'll be a bit of youth input in that. And it was also a great day to do a bit of pony trekking as well. So as I said before, there's going to be 2 new members of the Youth Council and a new youth representative. So we did interviews and 2 candidates will have been selected, and then it will go to the EUROPARC board members and they'll decide between the 2 people we've put forward to who's going to be the youth representative. So we've got another person from England, Hayley Quarrington from the New Forest National Park, and Michelle Herman from Germany. So the youth representative will attend the proper EUROPARC Council meetings, they'll attend our youth council meetings, and will advise the youth officer that works at the EUROPARC Federation. So we're getting youth in every area possible. So the first youth dialogue we did was a survey. I think we started it in March this year. So it was open to young people aged 13 to 30, and we got 242 responses from 17 countries, which is really great. And we just posed them a few questions to see what kind of was important to young people across Europe. And so 49% said their protected area was accessible by car. 67.8% want to live and work close to their protected area in the future, which is interesting. As part of our presentation we did at the conference in Sheffield, we spoke about how inaccessible it is to live in a national park, not just for young people, but there is quite large barriers for young people. And so the travel aspect of this led us to the theme of the European Youth in Parks Day, which I've just spoken about, and also a podcast that I did as well. So the podcast was on the EUROPARC podcast Voices from the Parks podcast. You can see it on Spotify if you want to listen to me talking to somebody. So it was on sustainable transport for young people, and I spoke to Lily Whitmarsh, who is from Campaign for National Parks. So she did Race to National Parks Challenge because in national parks it's really difficult to get anywhere without private transport, and I think only 6% of visitors to national parks are actually between the age of like 18 to 30, and not many young people actually come and visit these special places. So Lily and some other members of Campaign for National Parks did a race where they looked at getting public transport there, and I think when Lily spoke to me, she spent over £100 just to get to the New Forest National Park just in a day, and I think she was delayed by 2 hours. So it just kind of showed how hard it is to actually do that. So the next thing that I have done is I've been lucky to travel to different places in Europe as part of the EUROPARC Youth Council. So the first conference I went to this year was the EuroMab conference, which was in Lutherstadt-Wittenberg in Germany. And EuroMab is the man and biosphere, and biosphere reserves are a different UNESCO designation to a protected area. So slightly different to a national park. It's more about sustainable development, and I don't think it has the same legal limitations as a national park does. And it was really good actually, because the first 2 days of the conference were just youth-based. You can see on the slide the poster from the youth conference itself. We had a storytelling workshop at the end of people telling their stories and what they've done. And it's just kind of ways to upskill young people to have the confidence to actually talk about different issues, and just to connect with people doing similar things that you're doing. So the picture at the bottom is us doing a workshop, telling a story, and then the different colours. Somebody was a supporter, somebody was against it, and like you had to give feedback on the stories to kind of help the creation of it, really. So next thing was the Youth Plus camp in the Netherlands. So this was a lot of us from the EUROPARC Youth Council managed to go, and the funding from this was due to the EUROPARC Full Conference in 2023. There was a tiny bit of extra money that we used for young people, so it was pretty much a do-it-yourself camp. We cooked our own food, we camped and built tents, which was nice, and we did lots of different activities ranging from willow weaving bird feeders, which is up in the top corner, and you'll be surprised to know that I did manage to get it through on the airplane without, it just did the hold, which was great. And we also did moth trapping, which you can see at the bottom, the white ermine moth, which was beautiful. But we also did workshops out in the national park here, I'm not going to pronounce that because I have no idea, on sustainable development goals. So we hung up the sustainable development goals through the trees, and we each had to pick a number and research on it and then feed back to the group. And then we did a workshop on like youth advocacy, and picked like a story of what we wanted to tell. So as David mentioned, we had the EUROPARC Atlantic Isles conference in November, and I managed to take 4 young people from the Dales, and then there was 4 from the North York Moors, and they did an amazing job putting across the barriers for young people living and working in national parks. And I was also, as you can see, a member of the very diverse panel that we had there. And we just spoke about the big ideas from the conference. And luckily, most of the other panel members, one of their big ideas was young people and getting young voices heard. Also, the presentation that we've done, it is on YouTube, but I think we're also going to make a podcast from it as well, which might have a wider reach because it'll be on the EUROPARC podcast. So, challenges, what we've faced so far. It's the first year of the Youth Council, so it's a slow start, getting everybody to know each other and what we actually wanted to do. Communication with the actual Youth Council has been a barrier because we don't have that direct line, but hopefully that will change with the new council members coming in. And working online, it's great that we can work online and actually work with people from different countries, but it is difficult to maintain funding, maintain momentum, and funding has also been an issue as well because we had no funding to start with. So finding those funding streams, and also to get people from the UK into Europe now is quite difficult with a little thing called Brexit. So what we're going to do next is we're going to work more with the EUROPARC Atlantic Isles section. We're going to have a bigger Youth Plus camp in 2025 at the Waddensee in Germany, and hopefully there's going to be a new Youth Council for the Yorkshire Dales as well in collaboration with the YDMT. And we're going to do some more youth dialogues, and since the conference last month we want to have a Yorkshire youth group with the North York Moors Youth Voice as well. So that was everything. So if